Welcome to the Diva Deets, the ultimate podcast for women over 40 who are ready to take control of their health, ditch the diets, and lose weight for good. I'm your host and coach, Danya Powers, and I am walking through a little bit of a voice struggle today because I got around a campfire this weekend and it gave me just a little bit of a voice loss. But today we're going to talk about something that every woman goes through, or almost every woman goes through in midlife, and that is, the scale's going down, the clothes are fitting better, you're feeling great, you're feeling really good in your body, and then all of a sudden, without changing much or maybe not really even changing anything, your jeans start to get tight again. And it really does feel like your body has betrayed you, like your body has turned on you. And if you relate, you totally get it. But it's like you're doing all the things right, and then one day you woke up and none of it worked the way that it used to. Um, and I want you to hear me really clearly, as squeaky as my voice is. You did not ruin anything. You really didn't. You didn't lose control. You're not back at square one. What's happening is really just physiology. It's not failure. It's really important that you understand that because your body is doing what it does. It's keeping you alive. It's keeping you focused. It's shifting. It's adapting. It's protecting you. It's recalibrating. And no one really ever taught us what to do when the season comes. We know what diets tell us to do, and that is to, cut calories, do more cardio. So let's just take a breath here because you're in a phase that requires a different approach than it did when you were 25 or even 35 years old. We can work with this. We can rebuild the strength. We can rebuild the muscle. We can rebuild the metabolism, the confidence, slowly and intentionally without panic and permanently. You don't have to do it alone, and that's what we're going to walk through together. So, here's the heart of it for women in general in their 40s and 50s and beyond, because I do work with women in their 60s and in their 70s. Fat loss is not just about eating less. It's not. Our bodies don't respond the same way they used to. They don't. And they speak a language of, I'm adapting again. And you sit back and go, okay, body, what are you telling me now? And it's one of the reasons that I love what I do, because if I can get a client to hang in there long enough with me when we do hit this phase where the jeans get tighter, I can reassure them that we can fix this. We can get back to where they were, because what used to work stops working, not because we're doing something wrong, but because our hormones, our muscle mass, our stress response, and our recovery needs change. And I also want to interject here. It's important that you keep a tab on your hormones. When you're doing your blood work at your annual doctor visit, you really do need to make sure that you're getting testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone tested. If your testosterone dips, your muscle will start to tank. If your estrogen dips, your muscle will start to tank. If your progesterone dips, your muscle will start to tank. And then at that point in time, you're going to need to probably address that. And that could be part of the reason that you've started putting on fat. So keep that in mind as we go. Sometimes the physiological things that are going on can be addressed with something like HRT or some other options that are out there. And most women don't realize this one key thing when this happens. When we lose weight quickly, especially, and I'm talking weight on the scale, when we lose weight on the scale quickly in our 40s and 50s, we are not losing fat, maybe a little bit of fat. We are losing primarily muscle if it's moving fast. If the scale moves fast, it's 90% of the time it's muscle. And that's not going to help us because muscle is not just about strength. Muscle is about your metabolism. Muscle is about how your body burns energy at rest. Like me just sitting here doing this podcast for you, putting on muscle, I'm going to burn an extra 500 calories during this podcast just sitting here. Muscle's your hormone helper. It's your joint protector. It's your aging it gracefully insurance policy. And so if your weight loss phase does not include consistent progressive strength training, or if you had surgery or illness or stress, or it's just a weird season of life, because God bless America, having adult children is tremendously stressful, or just even a break from the routine, your muscle may have dipped. It just may have dipped. And it could have happened just because your body's adapting to what you've done. Maybe you've been at a deficit too long. If you stay in a deficit too long, muscle will start to dip again because your body adapts. It's going to adapt. I was having this conversation with a client today. Her body responded so well. She's 66 years old. And she did not have a lot of weight to lose. She wanted to lose about 16 pounds. Well, she is down 16 pounds, but she continues to lose because she's kept herself in a deficit. And so because she's continuing to lose, we're trying to get her to stop now. So getting her to eat more food is messing with her brain. It's wigging her brain out because boomers, just like Generation X, have the diet, diet, diet mentality. And so one of the things I was telling her, she was like, I'm losing my booty. And she is. She's not eating enough food. And so where sometimes women gain weight when they don't eat, well, eventually she will. And that was the conversation we had today. Some women really have to eat to get to the point that they're in maintenance, right? So what's going to happen to her, and this is what we talked about, and that's why I'm bringing it up, is her body's going to adapt to that deficit, and she's going to go start storing fat again, which is what we have fought to get off. She's down like almost 25 inches, 16 pounds. She's down 6% body fat at 66 years old, and she's been with me for 6 months. So her body's responding amazingly to this. But the conversation we had today was that she is going to be like, I'm gaining weight again. And she's not. Her body is going to be adapting. And so that's what we're talking about today, and I'm trying to prevent that in her. She's freaking adorable. I love working with her, but we don't want her muscle to keep dipping. And it is dipping because when you start losing your booty, we need our juicy booties. You need that glute muscle. And when the muscle dips, the metabolism dips. And so we talked about that. So with you, then the same calories and habits that used to maintain your weight suddenly start storing fat. And it's just confusing. It doesn't make any sense. But we are also not 25. We can't just go do cardio and, 2 weeks we're back to where we were. This is why women say things like, I'm eating the same and gaining. My metabolism is dead. Everyone's so dramatic. It feels like my body weight changed overnight, is one of the things that has come my way. It didn't change overnight. The effect showed up overnight, but the process was really gradual. So the questions you have to ask yourself, and these are really important questions. Do you still have energy? If you have energy, then maybe we just need to make some small tweaks to your nutrition. Or are you really tired? Then we need to really do make some tweaks to your nutrition. And then we also need to look at, are you getting enough sleep? Are you making sure you're getting enough water? Are you actually getting enough calories? Or are you following a calorie plan that is way too few calories? There are some plans out there. I don't want to name any names because I don't want to get sued, but there's some that have you eating like a little bitty brownie for breakfast, a little bitty brownie for lunch, and then you're doing like a lean and green for dinner and just like cramming a bunch of food in. But at the end of the day, it's between 8 and 900 calories. And you're doing that for a set period of time. And yes, you do drop on the scale. Yes, some of it's fat, but most of it's muscle. When I get clients that have come from this program, they usually come to me because they tripled their weight back, doubled their weight back. Because once they start eating food, their body is like, well, you starved us. And it really does kick in with like overeating issues post that particular diet. I can't stand that one. There's also one out there that does magical little points. That one is also not a friend of mine because it's not teaching women how to actually eat food. You have to like give in to the culture of points, and they don't actually know what a macronutrient is. So it's not teaching them anything. It's teaching them a culture. It's basically the religion of points. And that's what you live. And so you and I don't want to do that because we want to make sure that we are rebuilding our muscle. We're focused on rebuilding our muscle, and that's where our main focus is because that's the good news. Strength can come back. And within that, your metabolism can be revived. So when we rebuild muscle, the body gets tighter. When it gets tighter, it gets stronger and it gets more responsive again, even before the scale changes. I'm working with a client that she had a hysterectomy a month after me. I call her my hyster sister, but she has had the same struggle that I have had with the hysterectomy. It's like, great, did great. And then about 12 weeks in, your muscle is just tanked and you haven't been able to lift weights because of the surgery and the recovery. And I was looking at her body today. We're both of us coming up on a year, And she has fought so hard for every bit of muscle that's on her body. But I always tell women, you lose weight from your neck down and your ankles up, and the belly just is the most stubborn part. It's the last thing to go. And so she is pretty disgusted with herself and so frustrated. And I just couldn't help but just be so admirable of all of her beautiful muscles. And she's like, but my muscles, my shirts are tight. I don't feel like anything fits and I want it to. And before, when your muscles come on and they push the fat out, it is frustrating. You do feel like you've expanded, but the fat is going to go back down. It's just not a super fast process. And so the body does get tighter, it gets stronger, and it does get more responsive even before the scale will change. And her scale's been holding strong. It's finally starting to go down. We're edging down on the calories. There's a way to do it. You want to eat enough calories so that you can get to a point that you plateau and make sure that you're kind of hanging out there. And then we just start babying those calories down. And this is where most women panic. They want to go like she is really wanting to just like cut all these calories way, way, way down. And that's not what we do. We don't go back to cutting 500 and 600,000 calories a day. You want to cut it down like 50, 100. We're not trying to lose any muscle here. We're trying to preserve as much as we possibly can. A lot of women do more cardio. It's important to do cardio, and that was something we talked about. Was I needed her to add cardio, some impact cardio. Impact cardio is important. She's 60, so I'm not trying to have her do crazy things. And she told me, she's like, I can't do burpees, so I just modified. That's totally fine. In fact, I don't do burpees. If my coach puts them on my plan, I really throw a fit, but you can modify burpees, and that's what we do. So we're not doing more cardio. We are not skipping our cardio. We're doing our normal amount of cardio, but we're not adding hours and hours and hours of cardio. That's not going to help. And then the biggest mistake that women make over 40 is they just start eating less carbs because they're like, oh, I weigh less when I eat less carbs. You do, but you don't have any fuel for your muscle, and you also are not going to feel well because the body's going to go to carbs first. It's going to want to eat carbs first. It's the most easily digestible, usable energy. So the body's not going to go to fat to burn energy or protein to burn energy unless you make it. So the only way you would do that is if you are not eating enough carbs, and it's going to go to protein first. It's going to go burn off muscle first, not fat. It's going to store fat when you do that, and we don't want that. So does that mean you're eating 17 bowls of pasta? No, you're still eating normal sizes of pasta. You're making sure you're getting your protein intake in, but you're not skipping carbs, okay? You're also not skipping meals. Intermittent fasting for women over 40 is well, when I see these young people with their little ripped up bodies being like intermittent fasting is the way to go. You're destroying your metabolism if you are not eating food. Your body needs that energy to be able to not only just take care of your life and be able to have the energy for your day, your family needs you to eat freaking food. Because hangry women, no, ma'am, that is not okay with anybody in your family. My husband will literally hand me food if he knows that he can just tell. There is just an edge, and then also you add menopause to the fact that I don't have a filter. I don't care who I piss off anymore. He will hand me a protein bar and be like, shove this in your mouth, woman, and then we'll talk. And then in the middle of all this, skipping all these meals and doing all this extra cardio, you're just creating even more muscle loss. And so then where are we? That's going to slow the metabolism down even more. So the answer is not eat less, do more, push harder. It's not. The answer is fuel your muscle, train with progressive overload. You may need to change your workout up a little bit and give it what the body actually needs right now. One of my ladies is actually walking through this right now. She's so discouraged. She's like, this has worked for 2 years now. It's not working at all. And it's like, it is still working. It is still very much working. It's just your body has adapted. And so we're just going to change your workout, tweak it just a little bit. And I'm actually having her pull back from doing so much cardio because she loves to work out, and she's actually really fit for somebody that's almost 60. But what we're looking at is somebody that's almost 60. So her body has adapted. She's had a change. She's had a shift. And I encouraged her to go get her testosterone tested because that's what I'm thinking is happening with her, because we don't know until we know. We just know that things have changed, and now her pants fit tighter and her scale has gone up 15 pounds. So here's the framework that I use with my clients when we're rebuilding metabolism after a weight regain, okay? Protein first. And if you are If you're coming fresh from surgery, it's different. So this is not the same thing. Okay. So this for somebody that's come from a hysterectomy, I'm going to recommend probably 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight of your ideal body weight for regaining. This is different, or for recovering and getting our metabolism back. This is different. This is, hey, you're in pretty good shape. You just have had a random regain. Well, let's go and check these. Let's do these checkpoints here. Protein needs to be around 1 gram. I think the recommended amount is 0.8. I am not going to do that math. One is a lot easier to times things. So if you're supposed to weigh 140 pounds, try to eat just right around 140 grams of protein. You're doing 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight, not your current body weight, right? And so you're not perfect, you're not obsessive, you're just really intentional with the protein, okay? Protein builds muscle, protein raises our metabolism, protein helps the metabolism burn fat even at rest. And so that is an important part of it. The other thing is, like, make sure that you are lifting to get stronger. You are not lifting lighter, you are not lifting faster, you are not lifting sweatier. So your lifting program should have rests built in, and that is something that time has taught me. If you need to rest for 60 seconds between sets, it's really important that you do that. So don't try to think, oh gosh, if I do this and keep my heart rate up, I'm burning more. No, your muscles need the rest in between your sets. If you have 3 sets of 10, do 10 reps. It should be heavy enough that you need to rest. Give yourself a 60-second rest at least, okay? If you're lifting super heavy, maybe a couple of minutes even. We're focused on 3 to 4 strength training sessions a week. Really, truly, even 5 is fine. You wanna make sure that you are lifting weights. Right now, I have 5 strength training sessions a week. That's what I'm working on. That is why my body's finally changing, but it took me a while to get back up to do that, but that's what I had always done before. And you're increasing weight over time. You can increase reps, but I always tell people to increase weight. There's a really great, influencer out there called Chloe Jane, and she's Australian, so she's just fun to listen to anyways. But she was talking about the way that she encourages her clients, and I agree with this, and this is what I do as well, is that if you can do 10 reps with whatever it is that you're doing it with, and you can do all 3 sets of 10, it's not heavy enough. And so you need to go to the point that it's heavy at 6. Now you've actually progressively overloaded. And then once it's easy to do at 6, try to push back to the 10. That's your increase of the reps, but always increase weight first. I'm not saying hurt yourself, and be really careful with your form. Don't make it so heavy that you can't keep good form, but increase weight or reps over time. And when you're increasing reps, we're not trying to go from 10 to 25. We are increasing the reps smart by increasing weight and building back up to the reps that we were at. Big movements, these big compound movements, squats, deadlifts, presses, rows, push-ups, hip thrusts, those are going to create more muscle growth and faster muscle growth for you. So if your strength is improving, your metabolism is improving, period. Going back to carbs, because I cannot say this enough, carbs are not the enemy. So if we remove the fuel, the muscle breaks down rather than builds. Like I said, it's going to go for that fuel. It's the carb is the preferred fuel for the body. So we strategically, really strategically place carbs around workouts. My high carb days for my ladies are on leg day. Most of the divas, I have their leg day as Wednesday. That's a high carb day for them. That means more strength. Carbs plus protein after lifting equals a better recovery, and that means less cravings as well. So we are going to have less of a chance that we are going for food that we don't need to. And last but not least, step in hydration. Those steps in hydration, getting your steps in and making sure you're getting your water in. Those are critical pieces of this. 6 to 10,000 steps daily and 96 to 128 ounces of water are the foundation of hormone regulation. They are the foundation of getting rid of inflammation. They're the foundation of digestion. They're the foundation of cortisol balance, steps, and hydration. So they're really power-packed things to not skip. That is a habit that's such a critical. They're not extras, they're physiology. And it's really important that you remember that. One of the things I do with women is find out if they are walking 10,000 plus steps a day. If you are walking 10,000 plus steps a day, you've got to make sure that you're drinking enough water to support that. But you also need to make sure that you are eating enough food to support that and have enough carbohydrates to support that, because you want your body to not be breaking your muscle down to be able to get through those 10,000 steps. Some of the clients I have are nurses. Some of them are very busy business professionals. They are walking 14, 15, 16,000 steps every single day. And so when you do that, you're a highly active person. And so we need to put muscle on you, yes, but you also need to pay attention to the hydration and make sure that you are really focused on that. Here's the emotional part. When your clothes get tight, it's not easy to it's not easy to accept it, and you immediately go into these mental, I messed everything up. This used to work. It doesn't work for me anymore. I'm broken. I knew I can't keep it off. I knew this wasn't going to work. Everyone's going to think I failed. Why is this so hard for me? I even had one client tell me recently, don't shout me out on social media because I do not look like I work out, which I disagree she does. But this is what I want you to do. Pause. Hear this. Your body is not punishing you. It's communicating with you, and we're listening. We're leaning into that. And that was the conversation that I had with my client that has had this setback recently was we are just listening to what the body's telling us. And it's saying, I need more muscle. I need more fuel. I need care. It cannot be restriction, it cannot be punishment, and it cannot be shame. Your body's really asking to be rebuilt stronger because we always have a next chapter that we're walking into. So it's not a setback, it's really an invitation to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. So this week, choose eating 30 to 40 grams of protein at breakfast. See if you can squeeze in enough to hit your 1 gram of body weight with protein. So if that's, 3 meals at 40 grams of protein and you're wanting to be 120 pounds, that's your 120, right? Add 1 lift or extra set to your workouts. Push yourself. Remember, like I said, get to 6. What is your 6 instead of the 10? What is your 6? And when that 6 feels easy, push to 10. Push back to 10. And then 1 small serving of carbs before you lift. Make sure that you're adding carbs to the heavy lifting days. Take a 10 to 15-minute walk after dinner. That's at least going to get you moving. That's going to aid in your digestion. Drink at least 96 ounces of water every single day. Small hinges swing big doors. Think about how big some of the doors that we have swung, and this is itty bitty bitty hinge that will swing that sucker open. Your body knows how to come back. It knows how to come back. And I'm here to help you do it without panic, without punish, without feeling like you got to start over. And so if this episode hit home, if you have felt frustrated with your body or you're scared that you are losing your progress, I want you to know you don't have to do this alone. You really, really don't. I created a free Recomp starter guide that walks you through how to set your protein target, a beginner to intermediate strength training template for you, how to time carbs for fat loss and energy, and a progress tracking sheet that does not rely on the scale. If you want that, a copy of that, just comment the word Recomp and I will send that straight to you. I'll send the link to you. Always, as always, until next time, stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas. Thanks for tuning into this latest episode of the Diva Deets. If this helped you and you found it valuable, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Ready for more support? Join my free Facebook community or join my coaching community. The details are in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas.